family. And I can imagine my predecessors, my grandparents, when they came from Germany over here, when they first flipped that switch, what did it mean to them? We need power. We need water. We need all kinds of resources in this country to build on. When somebody pulls a permit, that money's going to be used for this county. We need this county to survive. I need my neighbors to survive as farmers. And if I'm for it, I'm for my neighbors. We all got to work together in this. We've got to make it work. I walk out my door and I look to the north and I see a tower standing there, 1,100 feet tall, that supplies information to a lot of people in this county. And the lights flicker. Sometimes I wonder, do I live in the red light district or what? But you know, I can deal with it. I can handle it. But what I can't handle is somebody suffering because they don't have power at a convalescent home or a hospital goes down and they don't have power. I want them to have power. When I'm dead and gone in 10 or 15 years, I want to know my children's got power. And that'll work for them. So I'm for it. And I'm for my neighbors. I'm for sustainable farmers. I'm for Davis Bones. Is he here? He's a pig farmer. Well, his pigs eat. But I take it. I deal with it. I live with it. Because he's my neighbor.
Okay, you want to take 30 seconds? Good enough. Thank you, sir. What township will you basically represent? Neola. Thank you. Is there anyone else who did sign the sheet who wishes to speak as a proponent, sir? Okay. Somebody was just handing you a note there. Never mind.
Hi, my name is Tim Nelson. I have land in Leola, Waverly, and Roberts. I am definitely for it. I shared earlier my brother Gary Nelson and my mother Constance Nelson have a next air wind project completed on their land. You can call and I will give you it. Land value has set record highs. Housing, Lake Ashtabula, resorts around the lake, they were dying. They're thriving. They're actually requesting village permits. Complete turnaround. The county couldn't afford to restore the land. My brother was forced to go farmer to farmer and ask for donations. Well, they weren't going to be able to use them in all their grain. After next air, they had a surplus. Hope, North Dakota, they were looking at closing the local community pool. It was in such bad shape. They're putting in a new one. I mean, look at all the kids and all the joy through all the years. They're getting a new pool. It wouldn't happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else has a proponent? Anyone? Last call. Okay, we'll close the proponent section. And Luke will move on to the opponent, or if it didn't mark, you'll just call your name and you can say what you want to speak to.
Sure. I go back up to the top here, and I've got Elmer Kruger. Elmer, did you plan on speaking? Okay. Laura Opel, a Goodwin address. Did you plan on speaking? No. So Joan Strang, do you plan on speaking?
Yes.
Okay.
As stated, my name is Joan Strang and I live in Waverly Township. I am not a supporter of Crown Grid wind project, and for these reasons. In your zoning guidelines, you state that appropriate setbacks will be determined to protect residential areas and land uses from the potential adverse impact of the towers. The safety zone for the tower employees is 640 feet. 640 feet, and yet you are allowing towers to develop closer than that to residents. Shouldn't we be afforded the same setbacks? Also, you say appropriate measures will be taken to minimize adverse visual impact of towers through design, siting, landscaping, and innovative camouflaging techniques. How can you do that? I have lived here basically my whole life, and I look out the window at the beautiful outdoors, and you cannot guarantee me that it will look that beautiful again. When my son put a trailer house in Codington County a few years ago, he had to get permission from all adjacent landowners to put that trailer house in. And yet no one has to get my permission to put a tower adjacent to me. For these reasons, I am requesting you deny Crown Grid's conditional use permit. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
David Strang, do you plan on speaking? Okay. Okay. Tom Daigle, did you plan on speaking?
Okay, I'd like to think that I'm kind of neutral on this, but I have a lot of concerns. Road repairs, you know what our roads are like this year out in the country. They're bad with the kind of weather we have. And then you think, or you stop and think when these things are going to be online about 21. So the taxes are going to come in about 22. So we got a 4-year hole in there where you're going to have to come up with some road revenue, because I don't know our fragile roads out there right now if they can take much more. And I don't think the township gets very much of that money. My biggest concern, though, is I read this whole thing here, and it doesn't address tile lines. These feeder lines they're putting in are going to be cutting my tile lines in Section 25, Section 34, Section 35. I would like to know how they figure they're going to put those feeder lines in there and not destroy those tile lines. I don't know where they're at. It's hard to identify where they're at. And I think that's one reason we're not quite ready tonight to vote this in, because that is not addressed in here. I put over $100,000 into tile. And we all know when it gets cut off, I had one spot last year where I had a bad tile line. I called the guy right away. 3 weeks later he comes. Well, you lose 10 acres of ground, 10 acres of production. That little power line or that little tower payment isn't going to cover that kind of loss. That's my biggest concern. I think they need to put a little more work into this thing and tell us how they're going to deal with that. I would love to have a two-way discussion so that I could have some rebuttal back on this to see what they're going to come up with. But I'm going to have to leave it up to you guys to handle that.
That question will be asked, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Loretta Grant? No, okay. Greg Wall?
My name is Greg Wall, Waverly Township. Well, now that this board knows where the 164 turbines will be, do you have a plan to see if they are on a shallow aquifer? I see on the map that I got shows that several of them are. And will you have someone from the DNR supervise these shallow aquifer drillings? Where I live, we have a shallow aquifer. We get water at 8 feet, we run out of water at 12. They've got several fingers that go across Codington and Grant County. And I remember my dad and a bunch of neighbors, back when they were alive, talking about how back in the 30s, people used to come to our farm and fill their barrels with water because the lake went dry, but we still had water. And when you come in with these turbines, and you drill anywhere from 30 to 50 feet deep, or dig, I shouldn't say drill, and you dump 50 truckloads of cement and 44-ton rebar in each one, how are you going to guarantee that they're not digging through my aquifer or my neighbors? The other thing I have is when these turbines hold between 300 and 400 gallons of oil to operate, and I've been down to the Toronto area, I've seen the turbines that have oil running down the sides, and they've been doing that for a long time. My niece just sent me a picture on Friday night. They hadn't been down there, so they drove through just to see what they look like. And the first three they came upon had oil running down the sides. I hope in this conditional use permit that you have some type of guideline to put a berm around all of these turbines to protect our groundwater from leaking oil. And if they are leaking, I hope this board has the power to shut them down until they are fixed. The last thing I have is a question. As a lifetime resident of Codington County and a taxpayer, because I live on the Grant County line, but I live in Codington, I have to follow all of Codington County zoning permit rules for trees, buildings, etc. So, will I be afforded the same protection because I live in Codington County, but Grant County is across the road? Will I have the same setbacks as every other Codington County resident? Or will I have to go by the Grant County rules? I don't feel I should have to. For these reasons, I'm asking this board to deny the application until you have all of these facts in. And I'll submit this to the board.
Thanks, man.
Kathy Wall? No, okay. Diane Redmond?
I think you get sick of seeing the same old people. I just want to say that I too care about my neighbors. I care about the people in my community. I'm not against people getting money for their land, but I do not think it should take away another person's rights. And I think we people have a right to protect our land. We have a right to protect our family's health. And we have a right to our peace of mind. And when I look at these maps, and I think about that 50-foot tower, or towers, around the lake, I don't sleep at night. And I know there's other people that feel the same way. And I think if any one of you, or any one of these Wind People employees, had a 50-story turbine right over the top of them, they wouldn't sleep at night either. Or even if they thought they were going to. We protect our rights through you, through our elected officials. And it's a huge responsibility. It's your responsibility to protect your constituents' rights. So we asked before the zoning board, put the setbacks 2 miles so that you're not infringing on people's rights. 50 stories high, a mile away, might as well be right on top of me. If this goes through and these people start putting those towers in 1 mile from where we live, we've lived here for 50 years, paid taxes in Codington County for over 50 years, and our property will go up for sale.
Thank you.
Bridget Johnson?
Bridget Johnson, okay. Under ordinance 65, I know you all know this, but I just want the rest of the people to know. It said in section 1.01.03 to prevent excessive population densities and overcrowding of the land with structures, and to regulate and restrict the height and number of stories. So how would these wind towers fit into that? What would you not approve if you approved these? What is it that we would do ever? Would there ever be a structure that a house or a private party would ever put up? I mean, we could do anything, couldn't we, if you're going to approve these wind towers? This application of 164 industrial wind turbines that are up at 485 feet tall. Can you name a structure in Codington County that is that tall? Do we have one? Okay. These turbines will be seen for up to 50 miles away. The wingspan of these structures is larger than the largest airplane ever built. It is hard to imagine having 164 mega structures disrupting the agriculture practice in our rural community. I'm asking please deny the Groundbridge CUP application as it does not comply with Codington County Comprehensive Plan Ordinance 65. Prevent excessive overcrowding of the land with structures. If this isn't overcrowding, I don't know what would be. I don't understand. I know if you read further in this ordinance, with the exception of the turbines or the towers, but if you have that exception, when would you ever say no to anything? Why is it even in there? Just curious. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Bridget.
Scott Daigle, did you want to speak? No. Did Carla Daigle want to speak? No. Okay. Brian Stoltenberg, did you want to speak?
Brian Stoltenberg, Elmira Township. I'm neutral on this, I'm with both of them. My concern is as a landowner and operator of land that has the power lines that do run through it, I have not seen a map of where the power lines are going to be placed. Have real concerns of land and property that if they're going to run them down through the corridors of the land and split land up and have the farm around them, that we did that for years under two major electric power lines, and it is a pain, and it limits the land. We can't have aerial applications on any of that land. So the placement of the overhead power lines would be a major concern that I think the board needs to look at. I would encourage that these lines get put on section lines or along roadways so we're not running them down through the middle of the field and creating issues with the farmland. We have ground that we love to put an irrigation system on there, but it's totally impossible to do it because of the power lines. So I would encourage that question to be asked is where the placements of the overhead power lines are gonna be. There was one other, the question that was brought up by Greg Wall was the shallow aquifer. We too are in a shallow aquifer. I have not seen this map, where the towers are gonna be located, but I would request that those maps be made public. I would wish that they would have those available here tonight for us to all look at. Our aquifer too is our wells have a 10-foot stick on them, so, I've seen these holes be dug when, WAPA replaced their towers. They put in cactus towers to stop the lines from breakage every so many miles. I watched them holes be dug, they're 35 feet deep, and I've seen them holes fill up all the way from 10 feet to the top within an hour or two. So the groundwater is a concern, and I think that needs to be addressed here because we have 2 wells that are in shallow aquifer, and I think it is a major concern that's addressed. So thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
There's one I wasn't sure on, is it Sam Jacobson? It was on 15th Street Northwest.
Hi, my name is Sam Jacobson. I'm resident here in Watertown. My wife and I have been looking to purchase a property outside town to fill a dream of living out in the country, give my son the kind of life I had. So we just recently found the perfect property in Jewel County, just outside of Brand. We went and checked it out. Beautiful rolling hills, everything we could have wanted. I heard about this meeting coming up, and I realized, I got to check into what the wind towers are doing around there. I looked at that property and realized that there would be 7 towers within 1 mile of that property. It was priced right at our budget where we wanted to, where we were ready to jump on. We actually put an offer, and we are pulling our offer out. This goes to show that this does decrease the value of your home. There is no way I would want to purchase a house inside this area in any wind farm, and I think you're going to find that your values of your homes are going to decrease. You may be able to keep the value of your farmland, but anything you put in your house, you are definitely negatively affecting the market. We had the dream that maybe I'd be able to raise my kid and have him see the nighttime stars like I saw. You're not going to see that in these wind farms. The night skies are never going to look the same. And nobody's really addressed the potential health effects. So sure, there's all sorts of studies inside the United States, but there's multiple other countries that have studies where they've had setbacks of 3, 5, 10 miles away from people's homes. And, I guess it's up to the landlord. If you want to subject yourself to that, I hope it works out the best for you, but it's not something that I would be willing to put my family through. So I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Dennis Malin, did you want to speak? No. Okay. Christy Morgan. And I do, Christy, before you come up, and Christy had noted this too, there were, I think, a handful of people signed in on a sheet that was for representatives, so, all of you, if you signed that one, I'm reading your name, just because I'm not sure if everyone understood what that was about, so I'm going to be reading everyone that's on that one sheet.
We might just read every name that's on the sheet.
Pretty close.
Good evening. Chris Logan from Twin Brooks. Codington County ordinance starts off with protecting public health and safety. I really hope the board tonight does protect people who live, work, and play in Codington County and deny the Crown Ridge conditional use permit. My first concern is flicker. There are no reports or studies showing that flicker does not cause seizures for the 3% of people who have photosensitive epilepsy. Also, the flicker report uses the stationary greenhouse receptors. We are moving when we are outside farming, driving, and recreating, so the report is flawed from the beginning. Did you know that sleep deprivation and noise and pressure are actually the biggest causes of seizures associated with turbines? I found this information from the same place that many wind proponents have used to disprove seizures and flicker issues. Has the board thoroughly evaluated the maps? There are 11 homes with receptors that are not on the flicker and sound maps. Of those, at least one looks like there is over 30 hours of flicker on a residence. And even some of those homes are far enough away, the map should be correct for full review and evaluation. There is at least one non-participating property that will have more than 50 dBA placed upon their property. I would also like to point out that at the March 12th hearing for the ordinance 68, Tyler Wilhelm stated that a 1,400-foot setback will maintain a 50 dBA level. According to the sound map, there are homes at 886 feet with a 49.8 dBA. Were the decisions for that zoning ordinance made on faulty information? I will leave you with this question. How long will it be before Codington County will be sued for allowing trespass zoning? When they put flicker and infrasound on our properties and we're non-participating, they're trespassing. And if you have a setback about 1,640 feet, as we find in many setback manuals, or a set risk for the turbines, that's 193 acres. I've included these maps and pictures actually right out of the application showing with one home with a 50 dBA. So I hope you consider those things tonight and deny this application. It's not right for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
Wayne Boardman. Wayne, I know how to say your last name now.
My name is Wayne Borek. I live in Waverly. To start, I oppose this. Firmly oppose this. The Crown Ridge CUP application does not inform the board or concerned residents about the cost of decommissioning. During a planning and zoning meeting on March 12, 2018, Tyler Wilhelm said the cost of decommissioning a turbine is $170,000 for this one project. It will be around $28 million. What happens when the turbine becomes too costly to repair, as in the MSU turbine as one example? Who will pay the decommissioning when the company goes bankrupt? Who will the company dispose of, where will the company dispose of 54,940 gallons of fossil fuel? In Appendix G, Crown Ridge states that land to remove and bury electrical cable fiber optics, it will have some environmental impacts. Maybe the project from beginning to end is too costly for our county and its residents. Please deny the Crown Ridge CUP and protect public welfare. In addition, my personal experience, I came back from Desert Storm years ago. I lived in Millbank on Millbank Avenue. I had car lights flashing in my window. After military service, I have 22 years military service and have retired combined active and reserves. I had to leave my home, sell it, and get out of there because that bothered me enough. I deal with chronic pain, fibromyalgia, and just like other veterans, we have post-traumatic stress. I've talked to numerous veterans. You go to veterans magazines and follow up on post-traumatic stress. You put a wind tower, I don't care if it's just a fraction of the flicker you're talking about, any amount of humming noise, you got a combination of flicker, noise, and nobody's mentioned seismic activity. In the state of Montana, my neighbor's son lives in Montana, and because of wind farms, the water's been contaminated with bacterial items. He had to spend thousands of dollars on a water filter at his own cost, so the neighbor can get money for that wind tower, but he has to pay for the extra. Where is it in this plan? Where is your plan to accommodate people who have medical conditions, who have to relocate to another home, and lose everything they have? My son came from California yesterday. He spent months in California, talked about the wind farms in California, how devastating it is. He came back to South Dakota from Waverly to Watertown, tried to imagine wind towers out there, and told me, Dad, you can't let this happen. Now, for those who want to use their land, I have a right. I fought wars. I have a right to use my land without being encroached on by your activity on your land. Where is your concern for me, your neighbor, and other neighbors? I want to know that. Who's going to pay us people who get zero for your activities on your land while you get paid for it, yet we have to pay the price? I have a lot, I could say a lot more, but I have limited time, so I'll
Do you want to take 30 seconds to just summarize your thoughts, or?
So I think I tried to summarize it. Basically, I could spend a long time that, hey, consider the people who have no choice in this, and especially as veterans and people who have migraine headaches or other medical conditions, they have no control. And Waverly, South Dakota, to me, is my therapy. I went out there, I see them sunrise, just a peace and quiet, and you destroy that peace and quiet. You put me in the corner, and guess what? Wars are causing people disregard other people, push them in the corner, and guess what happens? People get frustrated, they get oppressed, and what you have left? Pretty soon you have conflict. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Amber Christensen?
Hello, Amber Christensen from Waverly Township. This is a difficult situation my neighbors and I find myself in. Nick Sarah has been working on this plan for over 10 years, and we have 10 days. 10 days to evaluate the devastation we see on this application. While the applicant discusses jobs and economics, they have not provided any reports proving employment or contract showing amounts paid to landowners or a study of the net tax benefits to the county. Crown Ridge has failed to inform the board and the public of the risks to public health and safety and the economics of the cradle-to-grave carbon footprint. Crown Ridge is promising many temporary jobs without providing income or benefit information that will tax an already full housing market and possibly bring criminal activity like the oil field boom in our neighboring state of North Dakota. The applications and the landowner contracts put our county and its residents at great economic risk for many reasons, including decommissioning to the tune of $28 million. Crown Ridge has not provided safety manuals for the proposed turbines or safety information about living, working, and playing around the turbines and their safety or their assessment zones. Crown Ridge application must meet and comply with all the CUP requirements. Codington County Comprehensive Plan, Ordinance 65, as well as Ordinance 68, and I do not believe it does. My understanding when reading our ordinance is the CUP permit expires after 1 year. The application states 3 years. Ordinance 65 is adopted to protect and promote public health and safety, peace, comfort, convenience, prosperity, and general welfare. The ordinance then lists 10 more specific areas that also apply. And further, the ordinance states to decide such questions as are involved in determining whether special conditions and safeguards as are appropriate under this ordinance, or to deny conditional uses when not in harmony with purposes and intent of this ordinance. A conditional use shall not be granted by the Board of Adjustments unless and until, and there are 9 more conditions listed in the ordinance. Section 4.05.1, number 5, the Board of Adjustments shall make a finding that it is empowered under the section of this ordinance described in the application to grant the conditional use, and that the granting of the conditional use will not adversely affect the public interest. The entire 28,063 residents who live in our county, not just the 164 participating landowners. Then how about this section, where the ordinance states general compatibility with adjacent properties and other property in the district?
At my retail store here in Watertown, we have polled our customers since March on their view of turbines. Not one person has been in favor of turbines down here. Not one, not one. The only people I've ever spoken to who are in favor of the turbines are the ones that are receiving checks in the mail. Not in my backyard is what everyone else says. I ask that you deny the Crown Ridge application as it is not in the Codington County's public interest and does not meet or comply with all the CUP comprehensive plan and ordinance 65. Thank you.
Thank you. I also wish to thank everyone for, fairness to each other in the time thing here. But working well so far.
Gerald Bug? His name was on here twice and I didn't catch it either time. Is it Myron Dahl?
Yes.
I'm Mary Bell, and I live in Codington County. My concern is for all the counties that is going to actually have this done in their county is the children. I've heard before that it's very loud, and children, if they can't get to sleep, they fall asleep in class, and they get punished for that. So that's my concern, of thinking about the children. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Myron. I didn't catch the name right first time. Sorry about that.
Myra Dahl.
Myra, sorry. Tracy Cox.
Good evening, Teresa Cost, Germantown Township. I want to just add a quick word here for my husband Dan, who was unable to attend tonight due to short notice. But he did add here, in the case of a blade failure, causing it to shatter, assuming this happens on the field and no property or people are close for injury, the entire crop must be destroyed, as the shredded fiberglass will cause an extreme health hazard to both humans and animals, with debris scattered over 1,680-foot radius around the turbine. What if your children are closer than that to this disaster? Another thing we wanted to add was to remind you, former Oklahoma Governor Frank Keating actually made an ad. It is on YouTube calling his voting for turbines a great mistake that cost the people of his state over $120 million last year alone. How much of this corporate welfare can Codington County actually afford? Codington County residents, including myself, are in the Dakota Range 1 and 2 footprint. We will soon be living in an industrial wind facility amongst the 500-foot turbines. Ordinance 65, Article 1, which you've heard many times tonight, General Provision, Section 1.01.03, purpose. Number 6 reads, to protect and enhance real estate values. That was covered tonight by the young man before me, and I concur with everything he said. Now my attention is going to turn to Mr. Johnson. You had the opportunity, Myron, as my commissioner, to allow a change to the current setbacks in Ordinance 68 from 1,500 feet to 4 times the tower height, or the safety setback, whichever is greater, from a home. But you voted against it along with Ms. Hammond. For Myron, I'm going to ask you one question. Was that looking out for the public health, safety, peace, comfort, prosperity, and general welfare, including enhancing our real estate values? For Ms. Hampton, she's not here, but I want to know how many constituents What percent of constituents in her area, as she said, want wind? Out of the 5,483 voters in her district, is it under 3%? Sorry. People want to stay near their families and work, but when they, including their children, cannot stay in their homes due to adverse effects, they will leave. They will move away, and not to Codington County or Watertown. They will move where there are ordinances in place to protect them. Who will be the first real estate appraiser in South Dakota that will comment at his discretion that the industrial wind turbines or transmission lines are too close? This signals the home will fall in the FHA critical guidelines and cannot have an FHA mortgage. Have you done a study showing how many Codington residents are apt to have to abandon their homes with these wind turbines? On October 14th, 2014, in Brown County.
Can you summarize? You're in the last 30 seconds.
Okay. I just ask that you rule and deny this application at this time, as it does not protect and enhance the real estate values in Codington County.
Okay, thank you.
Paul Johnson?
I'd like to give my time to Mr. Wild.
It'll only be 3 minutes regardless.
That's a short one.
It is.
So you don't get Paul's time, Paul can use his own speak with us. You get 3 minutes.
Right, understand. Thank you. I represent Paul Duke Johnson. He doesn't like lawyers much. He doesn't like being here. But I'll do my very best. In my past lifetime, I've been counsel for the Public Utilities Commission. And in that process, I sat in on a number of different rate groups of IOUs. An IOU is an individual investor-owned utility. Okay? An investor-owned utility has power lines, power sources, power plants. It has everything that a WES or WES has, except one thing. They sell power to the public. A WES doesn't. It's the same thing. It's an investor-owned utility. And based on what you have in front of you in this red book, which I believe is just more or less pablum, you don't know anything about those LLCs. You don't have their operating agreements. You don't know who's involved with them. You don't know what relationships they have with Florida Power and Light. And there's no restriction that I know of that can stop them from signing all of these easements that they've collected once this project is approved, or if it is approved. But let me be direct. In looking at what has been offered, there isn't a detail sheet in this. You have no clue what the credentials are for the people that are putting this together. They're expert. I don't know whether he's been out of school a year or whether he's a 50-year-old guy with vast experience, and in what areas. What's his education? You don't know. At the PUC, they have staff members. And when they don't have the expertise in-house, they go hire an expert. And that expert reviews everything that the IOU is asking for. And that's why rate increases are adjusted. Not because the company comes in and says, hey, this is the minimum that we need. They come in full board and say, this is what we would like. Merry Christmas. The PUC's job is to shut them down. And that's what they do. But they do it based on evidence. Okay? And if you look at what we've got in front of us, there's not a hell of a lot of it. Excuse me. Let's take this one at a time. The noise standard in Codington County, 5522-0312, is 50 decibels. Okay, the information that you've got in front of you says, and I quote, the estimates for potential sound impact disclosed by the applicant are 49.9. That's an estimate. Nobody's checked it out. Luke doesn't have the authority. He doesn't have the credentials. You haven't hired an expert. How do you know that that's correct? You don't. And it's 1/10 away from your particular standard. how do you know that that estimate is valid? You don't. There's no credible evidence in this application that can establish that fact. Secondly, let's talk about 5220313, which establishes the flicker potential, not more than 30 hours.
Be fair to me, last
Okay, I'm closing her down. The EAPC's contact in there is that their estimate is not exact but realistic. Shadow flicker analysis by their expert is nothing more, nothing less than pure speculation. If you are going to decline to approve this CUP, which you should, it ought to be on the fact that there is insufficient and incredible evidence supporting the application, and that it is speculative at best. For those very reasons, this project ought not to be approved with a CUP. And if you're going to do it, then put a moratorium on it, get some experts to help Luke out, so you know what the hell you're doing.
Okay, John.
Nobody here has that expertise. Thank you.
Gary Albrecht.
Well, that's a hard one to follow. Gary Elbrock, Goodwin area. I'm here tonight to demand a denial of a permit for the Crown Ridge 1 and 2 application. Codington County Ordinance 65, the law of the county, charges you to protect and to promote the public health, safety, peace, comfort, convenience, prosperity, and general welfare of the county residents. I, as a person who loves the state of South Dakota, cannot believe we are subjecting the county to this intrusion of industrial wind powers. If this permit is passed, you will be responsible for destroying the landscape as we know it today in rural South Dakota. In this application, I see there are 164 participators. That's only 164. Of those, 13 signed up land next to other people, but did not sign up land they live on themselves. Those 13 people are subjecting everyone else to the effects of their contracts except themselves. The wind company expects effects to be at least audio, visual, view, light, flicker, noise, shadow vibration, air turbulence, wake, electromagnetic, electrical, and radio frequency interference, and any other effects associated with what they call wind farm. Those participators are protecting themselves from intrusion on their health, safety, peace, comfort, convenience, and prosperity. But everyone else has to deal with the problems of industrial wind. I cannot believe you as county officials are subjecting your people to this. You are giving preference to 164 people just in the project area alone, not counting the whole rest of the county. There are 164 participators, but there are 97 non-participators in the project area. That's a huge ratio of people who do not want turbines in their backyard. Now add the thousands of residents outside the footprint. You are not able to permit this project if you follow your duties in the ordinance. My question is, how are you going to protect the non-participators in this project? Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Patrick Lynch. Patrick Lynch, Rawville Township. So, I request that this application for a conditional use permit to Crown Ridge 1 and Crown Ridge 2 be denied because it does not ensure the public and private lands ultimately are used for the purpose which are most appropriate and most beneficial from the standpoint of the county community as a whole. purpose number 4 of section 1.01.03 of the Codington County zoning ordinance. Present in the area of the proposed wind turbine project are the communities and the community members of South Shore, Waverly, and Cranford. It should be noted that these residents have recently decided the community is worth investing in by building a new school in Waverly. The most important item to make these communities and the school thrive is to ensure there is enough young families moving into the area to make this investment pay off. When you have families moving into the area, you grow your pool of individuals of an employable age, which in turn makes the area more attractive to businesses and industries to set up shop. This in turn brings in more people and the businesses grow. I want you to take a moment to ask yourself, what about the area currently makes it attractive for people to move into? Items that drew me in included the peace, quiet, the beauty of the area, the small community life, a chance to do a little farming, and to make sure my children grew up on a farm. For this experience, my wife and I were willing to move and change jobs, and now I want to ask yourselves if this area will be as attractive once the wind turbines are in place. I personally would rather move into an area without turbines than into an area with them. These communities have been fighting an uphill battle to remain in existence for years, as the zoning board, with their land use policy, has made it all but impossible to move into the area. Young families cannot easily afford to buy 35 acres in addition to putting in a home. This forces those families that desire to live out in the country to move to other counties or stay in town, which has helped erode the population over time and shrink these small communities. If this application is approved, it will destroy the existing reason to move into the area. A decision to approve this project will continue to hurt and shrink these communities for years to come, and I don't think by the time the towers come down, there will be any small communities left. For these reasons, I ask you to deny this application for a conditional use permit for the small community village.
Thank you, Pat.
I'm gonna go with Tracy from Marvin.
Hello, Chairman and Board. I live outside of Blue Cloud Abbey, right outside of Marvin. I'm the clerk of the Osceola Township as well. And I'm here to make some remarks to you. I wish to address the zoning ordinance 65 of Codington County, which is to protect and promote public health. My first master's degree is in a field of science that includes both human physiology, anatomy, and kinesiology. My second master's degree is in nonfiction environmental writing, and I do intend to write about this meeting and your decision. I previously owned and operated a successful health consulting business for over 16 years. I understand the mechanisms of low-level infrasound, and I want to discuss that with you. I want you to know that low-level infrasound is not audible. I repeat, not an audible noise. Infrasound is a mechanical vibrational wave with frequencies between 0.0001 and 20 hertz, undetectable with human ears. Infrasound emitted from turbine towers is a health concern due to low frequency noise pressure that is below the limit of human hearing, that is 20 hertz. In other words, just because one cannot hear noise does not mean there is no long-term health